Hi, everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful Tuesday. Welcome to Sewing Machines Plus Takeover Tuesday. I'm Karlie Belle. I'm really excited to be here with y'all today. Usually, I like to get together with y'all on Fridays once a month on my YouTube channel where we do something called Sip and Stitch, and we do a project from start to finish. But now I'm also participating in Takeover Tuesday, where I'll be here the second Tuesday of every month. And I usually like to have a really nice class planned for y'all where we'll go over a very specific topic. And we were supposed to do quilting on your embroidery machine. However, I was waiting on some vital pieces to my puzzle of embroidering, quilting on my embroidery machine that I didn't receive in the mail yet, probably due to all the sorts of winter activities that are happening in the US right now. So I didn't get my package in time for the class I wanted to teach today. So we are going to postpone that class until next month. So the second Tuesday in February, we will have a class on quilting with your embroidery machine. So today is kind of a free-for-all. I am here for you guys, and I've done this a few times in my Facebook group and on my YouTube channel, and it's a lot of fun. But what we're going to do today is just have a live Q&A session. So if there is anything that you are curious about that has to do with embroidery, hooping, stabilizers, in the hoop projects, using embroidery software like Embrilliance, any of those things, give me all your questions. I want to hear them, and it'll give us a whole bunch of stuff that we can talk about today and hopefully help others that may have the same question as you. So good morning or good afternoon. It's afternoon here. Yes, it's 1 o'clock here Central Time. I think it's still morning on the Pacific Coast. So hi, everybody. Hi, Joanne Banco. How are you doing? I see some of our Sip and Stitch squad members here. So thanks for joining us. So excited to be here. Okay, let's see. I saw a question. Sue McClay, how do envelopes, I'm guessing, work on Embrilliance? This is a great question, and we can definitely go over this. I actually have a whole course on how to use Embrilliance Essentials, and we have a whole module on envelopes. So we can jump into that, and let me just look ahead. Rita says, what's the best way to keep my thread stored? That is also a great question. I know the way I do it and probably the way I should do it. So I'm going to jump with that one first because I know I can answer that one off the top of my head. And then we can go into my computer and with Embrilliance Essentials, and I can show you envelopes. So thread and thread storage. I am guilty of keeping my thread on thread racks on the wall because I love the visual display of seeing my thread. I have a whole thread rack on this wall over here too, where I can see it. I have it in like rainbow order. I can see all my different shades of purple and I can go and grab it. However, dust can accumulate, and dust can accumulate on thread, and our machines do not like dust. And when we have dust on our thread and then that thread is then run through the thread path of our machine, that can also build up dust in there. So the advice I should give you is that you keep your thread in some sort of dust-free environment, not like me on the wall. And I've seen some really great solutions to this. There are plastic containers that you can get to hold your thread in, and they have stackable ones, so then you can still and they're clear, so I could still maybe see through them, and I could still put them in rainbow order, and I can have like color palettes within these plastic containers so that if I know I need a certain color, I can grab that container's color palette and go and look through. That is going to help keep your thread dust free. I've also seen drawer units where people will keep their thread in the drawer units. And if you have an IKEA accessible to you, they have the Alex drawer set. They have a short one and they have an extra tall one. I've seen people put little wooden pegs in those drawers, so they almost look like spool holders. And then I've seen thread racks. Let me show you because I have one. And I got these from a more, I guess like a small business. It's called Laser Bee Studio, but I think Designs in Machine Embroidery also sell something like this. But it is a little wooden tray, and you see how they have the nice circles that, if I'm spool of thread, fit very nicely in them. And I know Laserbee Studios sells these kind of trays that fit perfectly in those like 12 by 12 plastic containers and in the Alex drawer system from IKEA. So if you're looking for a whole new thread organization system and you want to get it off the wall and into a more dust-free environment, those are some great options for you. You could get those 12 by 12 plastic containers. They also have, specific spool holding plastic containers, and then those drawer system. And then you can find something like this to keep it all nice and organized and stacked where they don't move. So I hope that answered your question. All right. So let's see. Ivana says she puts hers in drawers, but they're not in any particular order. But that's fine. I have most of my threads on my thread rack, but then I have like a whole pile of them on my machine, like next to my PR1X, because that is a single needle machine, but it has 4 thread holders on top. But I'm constantly like, I do projects, sometimes I'll use all different kinds of colors, and I'll pile them on the side of my machine. So I'm guilty of that too. Okay, next question. How do you fix your stabilizer after you take a bird's nest or mistake and fix it? All right, this is a great question. So this actually happened to me yesterday. I was stitching this and something happened and the presser foot moved over my faux leather of this project and it kind of pulled my project and ripped my tearaway stabilizer that I was doing. So when things like this happen, so either you have a tear in your stabilizer as you're stitching, if it's a tearaway, or you have a bird's nest and you're like, you have to go and clean up the whole bottom and you're worried that your stabilizer is compromised, what you can do is float a new piece of stabilizer under your hoop. So it doesn't have to be within, you still have something hooped, right? It's just you're worried that there might be a cut or a hole or something in the already hoop stabilizer and you want to just fix that little area. Let's go to the machine and I could show you what I mean. Get some little pieces of stabilizer here and we can do that. But yeah, floating under, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Let's go over to, I have my Stellaire right here. Let me get a hoop. Okay, I actually have the Alex drawers in my craft room, but I use them to store my hoops. I probably should hang my hoops on the wall and put my thread in it instead. Okay. So let me just hoop some stabilizer real quick. Okay, so I have my hoop. I have it on the machine. Something goes wrong and there's a tear. Get an extra piece of stabilizer and then just float it under between the hoop and the bed of your embroidery machine, wherever the problem area is, and then start stitching again. And now it's going to attach this extra little piece of stabilizer underneath and help kind of re-stabilize that area. So I hope that helps answer your question and helps you in your next project whenever you're having trouble. Okay. All right. I am looking. Let's see. Yay. Okay. So now what is an envelope? Okay. So let's go to Embrilliance and talk about envelopes. And I have to pull it up. All right. The screen. Now, one problem when I do this is I can't see any comments or questions when I have this screen open is one problem I have. So I apologize for that in advance. But I'll go try and check. Or maybe I could check on my phone. Maybe I can do that. Okay. So screen's going to look crazy. All right, here is Embrilliance Essentials. And this was actually the little project I was working on yesterday. This is going to be our sip and stitch project for January. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a new screen. Okay. So if you are not familiar with this at all, it is embroidery software. The company that makes it is Embrilliance. They sell several programs that have different features when it comes to embroidery designs. Some of their programs are specific to editing embroidery designs that maybe you purchased online, or if you purchased an embroidery font and you want to use that font to create a name, a monogram, a whole little paragraph, you could do all that. And then they have another program that helps you digitize, which is to create a embroidery design from scratch, or like if you have a picture of a business logo or a something your kid or grandkid drew and you want to turn it into an embroidery design, that would be digitizing, and that's a different software. So the one most people start with is called Essentials, and that is your basic editing program. And what the question was specifically having to do with envelopes within Essentials. And envelopes are almost like shapes that allow you to fill it with a lettering design, and then that lettering design will take the shape of that envelope. So I believe this comes with Embrilliance Essentials when you purchase it. If it does not, it is free on the Embrilliance website. They actually have several free things. Like they have this Valentine one. They had, I think the Halloween one's super cute, to where you can make these patches where the name fills in the smile of the cat. And then they definitely have these banners and such here. And one I really like is actually, I think, under applique. No, maybe it's this one. This comes with Embrilliance, I know for sure. And there's one I always liked. I'm gonna have to go through each one to find it. It's a breast banner. No, ribbon for breast. I do it for breast cancer awareness. I can't find it. Where is it? Oh well. Okay, let's go back here then and just focus on envelopes. All right, so let's go ahead and click this one here, and we can hit OK. And now what's going to happen is it's going to have several pieces to it. But what is envelope is actually, that is the shape that your lettering design is going to take. And then this is what's actually going to get stitched out. And these are just part of the design. But this is what the final design looks like. But we need a lettering design, or we need a font to fill this with. So we are going to click the lettering design, and an ABC is going to pop up. And here our properties panel is going to change when we do that. And we have a line to enter text. We have a spot to pick which font we would like to use. I have a lot of BX fonts installed. And then we have a bunch of other options here. But I am going to type in my name. Okay. And now you see my name is here, but it is not the shape. It's not in the envelope. And what we need to do is rename this. And so you see right here how it's named envelope 1. We can rename this. And I'm trying to remember if I just click one. Yes. So it's going to say envelope, and then there'll be a number, a letter. There'll be something here that it is named. And all you have to do is rename your lettering design, whatever that is. So here we have envelope 1. And when I click the envelope, the name should move with it. So you see now it has taken the shape, but I could still, I think, go here. When I click on it, it like pops out of the envelope and looks regular. And now I could maybe go play with different fonts. I could go and click cut the color and maybe change the color of it. So different things like that. But that's the main gist of it, is that envelope is a shape that allows lettering designs to take that shape. And you do so by renaming your lettering design, whatever the envelope is named. Let's see. So let's go back to the chat and give me a second and let me see if that makes sense and if there are more questions about that in general. So I have a whole module on envelopes within my course. And to be honest, I have not played with envelopes, I think, since I made the course. So there is so much more that you could do with it, but I myself am a little rusty, and I think I need to go back and watch my lessons that I made. But I think that's the gist of it, is that you have a shape and you can reform your lettering designs to fit that shape. And there's a lot of fun things you can do. There are free envelopes that you can download on the Embrilliance website. And then if you have StitchArtist, which is their digitizing program, there are ways that you can create your own envelopes as well. But I don't get into that in the course. I focus just on the features of essentials in the course, so that you can see all about the libraries feature and the envelopes feature. Okay. Let's see. I'm just checking the chat. When is it used mostly, Sue? Just with whatever you're thinking that you want to do. So they're great. I think some of them are great for patches, where you want to have the overall shape of something and then have the lettering design fill it. But then it's also great just to merge and play with different designs. Where if I was creating, like that particular one, I think would be cute if you embroidered on a card and was doing like a birthday card, where you could have like a set of balloons and then have that banner on top, or have, happy birthday written in some special font, and then have the banner at the bottom with the person's name. That's like the first thing that comes to mind, is something fun that you can do with those envelopes. But you can go and play. There's so much fun that you can have with it. But just know that you have to rename your lettering design to whatever envelope you're trying to make it fit. Okay, Dorothy asks, she has Florani thread, at least 10 years old, still in the original wrapper. Is it still good to use? I would think if it was stored in good conditions, like not humid and wet, not directly in the sun, and still in the wrapper, therefore doesn't have dust on it, I would give it a shot. Yes. And if you notice thread breaks after thread break after thread break, then you know your thread is not anymore good. I've done that with old thread before now. I think the one I was playing with was old cotton thread, and it was breaking and breaking. I was like, okay, no, this is too old. Polyester thread, I would think, would be more durable. But as long as it was in a good environment, as far as storage goes, I think it should be okay. All right. Helena, can you delete the banner but keep the shape? Let's give it a try. All right, let's go here, here, here. Okay, so back in Embrilliance, can I go and delete the banner and that and that? And yes, I still have the shape. Now what's going to happen is, now I pulled it out of there. Oh, There we go. I would probably want to group them, and you can go to edit group. So therefore, when I click it, I drag both of them. But yes, now we still see this black line. However, that black line is not going to be stitched. Only the name will be stitched. And we can play around with resizing this and making it bigger. If you have I have a little hoop on here, but I would just need to increase my hoop size. You still have the options of rotating it. Oops. No, actually, I think rotating it throws it out of whack with the envelope. Let me back up. Okay. So you still can play with it and add whatever else you would like to it. So if I bring this back down and have it here, and then I could do another lettering design and do Belle. And I can go to my library, my envelope, and I could do another one. I can do maybe, if I like this, let's try that just for fun. Okay, so I have that here. And this one is named envelope 6. So I'm gonna go to my letters and I'm gonna type 6, enter. And maybe it needs to be after. Why are you not going in? Is it? There we go. You have to have the whole name. I was wondering that earlier, if it was just one or you have to have what the whole name is. Okay. So now I have Belle within this envelope. And let's see if I want to make this a little bigger. Kind of get it like my top one. But say I don't want the pennant, I can go and delete. I'm just hitting delete on my keyboard. And so now I have just the 2 envelopes with my name. And again, only the name will stitch out, not the that black line that you're seeing. So you can do that with any of these envelopes. If you end up just liking the shape that it creates, but don't want to stitch the satin border portion of it, you can go and delete that after. All right, let's go back. Okay. Donna says, if you are just starting out with embroidery, is there a good tutorial out there to start with? So I have a page on my website. It says brand new to embroidery, start here. I wouldn't say there is any one good tutorial. I have created a whole course if you are brand new to embroidery, but it has, oh goodness, was it over like 50 or 60 lessons in it? There is a lot involved to it. On my website, where it's like the get started page, let me just show it to you because that would probably be easier. So I'm going to go to KarlieBelle.com, and now I'm going to show you. Oops. Okay. So this is my website right here, brand new to embroidery. So first, I have it like as a top 10 or a top 11 things. First, pick which embroidery machine you want to buy. And this can be tricky, so I've made a guidebook for you to help figure out which machine is best for you. Mainly, I say get the machine with the largest hoop that fits within your budget of how much money you want to spend or how much you're willing to spend. But this guidebook breaks down machines by hoop size. So I tell you about, and I mainly focus on the brands Brother and Baby Lock because those are the machines I'm most familiar with. But if you are a Janome girl or a Bernina or Burnett, you're still going to get some good information out of this guidebook just to help you think of the things that you want to make and what you would need in order to do that. All right, next is gather your supplies. This is a free post here on my website that goes over all of the supplies that you need when you get an embroidery machine, because it's not just the machine and it's not just the thread. There are a lot of things that go into being prepared to do your first design. Now, granted, stabilizer is one, and then people get hung up on stabilizers because there's so many types, and I have a post on that. But there are other little tools that just become so helpful. And so I have them all listed out for you here. Learn about embroidery software. This is a free post that just tells you about Embrilliance embroidery software and tells you about all the different programs that they offer and what they do. So just to get you familiar with it. Here's a post all about stabilizers to tell you which kind of stabilizer is best for which kind of project. Places to buy embroidery designs, hooping, applique, and then I tell you about my Sip and Stitch on YouTube and Facebook group. And then this is the beginner course. This is 9 modules, 57 video lessons on everything that you need to know to get started. So this is a great free resource here. Everything on this page is free except at the end here, the course, which is for sale on SewingMachinesPlus.com. All right, let's go back. Okay. Okay, I see someone. Oh yeah, so Linda says maybe put the banner on a card and then cut it out with the scanning cut. Yes. I see someone saying that they don't have the envelope. So let's go look at the Embrilliance website. And I'm going to show you. I want to say this is what we did in the course. So this is the Embrilliance website, just embrilliance.com. It's going to tell you about all their programs. All of their programs are also for sale on SewingMachinesPlus.com. You can get them by calling in or ordering online as well. But if they're on their website, they have some free resources and some blog posts. And if you go here to the search bar and type in envelopes, you will see, if I'm remembering correctly, all of the blog posts that have to do with envelopes. So this is the one. See, it's back from 2019. And it's about how to use envelopes in Embrilliance. And there should be the Envelopes One library is free. So you can click here and download that Envelopes One library that I just showed you. And that had all of these different envelopes that you could use. Envelopes are also really big in their Patch Artist program that they have, which allows you to make patches, and they'll have envelopes already built in so that you could create them. Let's see. I also love the new Ace Rewind package they have. They have lots of envelopes that come with that one so that you can get all of these different types of lettering looks. But then here are the free ones. So here's the Halloween patch library. You can click on here and download that for free. And if you keep going back, here's one that was a Valentine one. This one's free. If you click on it, you'll be able to download it. So yeah, check out the Embrilliance blog. They have lots of free projects that you can download and then open up in your program. Okay. All right. Let's see. Are glues and chalks harmful to my sewing machine? So chalk, I can't say I have any experience with. I mainly use fabric markers that are either disappearing with air or with water. The Dritz fabric marker is my favorite. I use all the time when figuring out placement marks. I've even used it when I was like pre-quilting some fabric. I drew lines on it to know right where I wanted to sew to do my quilting. As far as glues go, adhesives, depending on the type, can gum up your needle, and that can cause problems when you're stitching. However, there are low tack adhesives that are safe for your machines. For example, whenever I am doing applique projects, I always like to iron, heat, and bond on the back of my applique fabric so that when I'm done stitching, I can iron it, and that way my applique fabric will fuse to whatever I am embroidering on, whether it be a shirt or a towel or anything else. And when I wash it later, that applique fabric won't like puff up and pull away from the item that it was appliqued onto. Now, there are several versions of heat and bond, and I use the light version on my embroidery machine. And if you could also use it on a sewing machine. And that has a low tack and doesn't gum up your needle. However, Heat and Bond makes another version called Ultra, and that one has a super strong adhesive and will gum up your needle. So just pay attention to the types of adhesives that you're using. I use a ton of temporary basting adhesive when doing different projects, like with floating, with basting your quilt, that you're going to need that low tack adhesive in order for your project to come together. This is safe, but you want to make sure that you're not spraying it around your machine. So I have machines all around me, and my craft table is right in the middle of everything. So normally I will do things here, and then I've even put projects or items into like a grocery bag or a cardboard box so that when I'm spraying, it kind of contains everything and keeps it into place. I wouldn't spray it directly in front of my machine, just as a note. I have also used things like, where is that glue at? I've used school Elmer's glue, the glue stick, and I've used, I don't know where that glue, I got this glue, I don't even know what it's called, but I've used it for some sewing projects to hold things in place, and I haven't had any trouble. Now, the solution to all of this is if you do use something that is too tacky, change your needle, just change it after. And like Blaine will tell you, he'll change his needle with every project. I don't go that far, but if I am worried about anything, just change your needle. That's going to solve it. Okay. Do I have StitchArtist? Yes, I have StitchArtist. I have all 3 levels. If you're not familiar, StitchArtist is the digitizing program that Embrilliance offers, and it comes in 3 levels. And what's great about it is that you can buy level 1 today. You're really unsure if you're going to use this program, even if you're going to get into digitizing, but you just want to try it. You can purchase level 1, which is a very low price when it comes to digitizing software, and see if you like it. And if you get into it and you're like, man, I wish I would have bought level 2. I wish I would have got I need more features. I want to have more control. You can purchase level 2 and just pay the price difference. You pay the level 1 to level 2 upgrade. And then say you get level 2 and you're like, man, I'm ready for level 3 now. You purchase the upgrade, and so that you get, now you have all the features, and you didn't pay $1 more than what you would have paid if you would have bought level 3 from the get-go. So that's one of the things I love about Embrilliance's digitizing program, is that you can ease into it. You don't have to put out that huge amount of money at first if you're unsure if this is something you want to do. With that, when I started, I purchased level 2 because I knew I wanted the capability to import an SVG file and turn it into an embroidery design, because I have a silhouette and I have a scan and cut, and I'm familiar with all of those cut files, and I have a bunch. And I was like, oh, I can turn them into embroidery designs if I have level 2. And then later on, I upgraded to level 3 so that I have all the features. So with that, I'm so sorry. Let's see. I think it's back. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. My batteries went out on my microphone. It never gives me a warning. So I apologize for that. Um, I, I don't know how long I was out for, but I was rambling on about Stitch Artist. Uh, let's see. Does anybody know? What did y'all hear? Let's see. I was rambling on about Stitch Artist and thank you, Andrew. Um, and just in general, how the different levels work. And um, okay, good, not long. So, and if you have any Stitch Artist specific questions, please shoot them my way. I'll do my best in answering them because I know it's intimidating to get into, and it's kind of hard. It's like, where do you start with Stitch Artist? And I think I've done a few lessons on Stitch Artist in my VIP membership group, where we've kind of started with some very basic things like just digitizing certain shapes and then turning them into appliques, or starting with an actual picture and then turning that into an embroidery design. Okay. Sue X, does that spray have a scent? No, not that I'm aware of. This temporary basting spray? No. No spray that I'm noticed, and it's colorless as well. And I haven't had any trouble with you seeing anything on fabric after you spray it or anything. Nope. Okay, let's see. Kathy, have you tried the, it's not OD, I think I know what you're talking about, 505 glue sticks yet? They're relatively new. I haven't found one yet. No, I have not. I know 505 makes a spray as well, so they make a glue stick. That would be fun. I've used that just with the very limited sewing that I've done, like when I've folded over seams and things. It's nice to have like a glue stick to kind of help things, and then you can press it with your iron to help hold things in place. Okay. Kristen says, if you download Embrilliance on a PC, can you also download it later on a Mac? Yes. One of the many things that I love about Embrilliance is that, number one, you can put it on as many computers as needed, and it works on PC and Mac. Number two, you get free updates with it, as like they just came out with a new version. I still haven't updated my computer yet, but I need to. But every time they come out with a new version, you go download it for free. You don't have to pay for updates every year. You don't have to pay for so many installs. I am the queen of ruining computers. I've had PCs that totally, shut down on me and did not work anymore. I had a MacBook for the longest time, and then I upgraded to a new MacBook. And then I used my husband's MacBook for a while, and then I spilled water all over it in my work bag. I had my water bottle in my work bag. And now I have a new computer. So every single time I've just had to go re-download the program and enter my serial numbers that I got when I purchased it. So if you have, a computer, several computers in your house, or if you were guilty like me and I was playing with it while I was at work, I had it on my work computer. You can put it on wherever you need to. You upgrade later, your computer dies. You don't have to worry about that. It's really great. Okay. Yeah, with the updates, Sue, they have some new fonts, and that was what they had on the website there. They have some new fonts available when you update. So I need to go do that so I can play with them. Okay, Rita asks, what is my favorite notion? That is hard, but I would have to say one of my favorites for years has been my embroidery snips. They're like tweezer-like scissors. I use this for all of my applique work, whenever I just need to cut thread tails, all that little bitty intricate cutting in any sort of project that you're doing. I love these. They are absolutely wonderful. They're made by Havels, and I got them at Sewing Machines Plus. I think that one, if I had to choose one, is my favorite. Okay. Yes, and if someone is wondering now, so let's give homework to everyone. If you have an Embrilliance software on your computer right now, and you don't remember where you bought it from, when you bought it, any of those things, but it's on your computer, I want you to go open your program. All the way on the top screen, I'm not going to click mine, but I'm going to show you where to click. Did it? Desktop. There we go. Okay. Open up your program. Right here where it says help. Help. Right here it says serial numbers. I want you to click on that. And a new window is going to pop up, and it's going to tell you which programs you have installed in Embrilliance right now, whether you have Essentials and maybe you have Enthusiast and maybe you have Alpha Tricks, no matter what you have, or you only have Essentials. When you open up that window, there'll be a blank box at the top and there'll be a box at the bottom that's going to tell you what you have. And next to it, it's going to have your specific serial number. Write that down and put it in a safe place, so that if anything should happen in the future and your computer shuts down on you, all you have to do is go to the Embrilliance website, go to the downloads, download the newest version of the program, and then once it's downloaded, it's going to ask you for your serial numbers, and you just type them in. So if you have like an iPhone and a MacBook or a tablet, they have that Notes app. That's a great place to store that. If you have a special notebook in your office or in your craft room where you keep passwords and those kinds of things, that's where you're going to want to keep that information. Your serial numbers is all you need to be able to install that program again later if you need to. But you can find out what you have just by going to help and serial numbers. Okay, let's see. Is the embroidery of a better quality, a more expensive single needle, say a Brother SE2000 and the new Avenir? Okay, so I think the question is, are you getting better quality stitching with a more expensive single needle machine? I don't know if I could say that it's like, say it's like a satin column. If I would stitch a satin column on my PE 800 or the SE 2000 and stitch the same satin column on like my Stellaire, I don't think I would be able to tell the difference. Now, the speed of the stitching would be quicker. The overall features of the machine would be better with the higher end. The needle threader is like butter on my Stellaire. I love it. But the quality of the stitching, I don't know if I could say that I would be able to tell the difference in one machine versus another with some basic, satin stitching. Now, sometimes I think I see better quality in larger multi-needle machines. And I was talking with Blaine last week, and I think the tension regulation in some of the more industrial type machines that have these, intricate thread paths that they go through and tension regulators may help with the overall quality of the embroidery. But on a single needle machine, I don't know the intricacies of the tension regulation in the thread path of a lower end machine versus a higher end machine. But I can ask some people at Brother and see if they can find out, and tell me if I see them at the quilt show that I'm going to next week. Okay. Okay, Audrey says she has Embrilliance version 1.190 and does not seem to have that envelope icon. Does that mean I do not have Essentials? So Audrey, go to Help at the top of the screen, click serial number, and when that box comes up, it will tell you if you have Essentials installed. Now, whether that envelope feature, I would think, is even included in the free version of Embrilliance. because the free version, they have a free version of Embrilliance, but it only allows you to use lettering, BX fonts, and it can only be BX format. It can't be PES or anything else. It will only open BX fonts and allow you to create lettering designs. And I would assume that you could use envelopes with that, but I have not tried for myself, so I don't know for sure. But you could definitely check and see if you have Essentials installed by checking your serial numbers. Hi, Marissa. Okay, Sue says she has 2 different multi-needles and a Brother 1600, and they all stitch slightly differently and depends on the project she is doing. Okay. But they all stitch well overall, yeah. I have several embroidery machines, and I don't think if I took out my different, like I have a whole slew of project examples here that I'm bringing with me to the California Quilt Show. So like, where are we? Craft table. Here we go. So this is a baby gown that I stitched for Elise when I only had my PE 770. So it was even the older model. And to me, the satin stitching on this looks great. And if I try to find a project that I know I stitched on a bigger machine, let's see. I stitched, this was my Christmas tree. This is a project we did for my Sip and Stitch holiday workshop. And you can see the satin stitching on these trees. This was done on my Stellaire. And I can't say that the quality of the stitching is better on one than the other. Now, every machine you'll have hiccups every once in a while of looping or nesting, thread breaking, those kinds of things. But overall quality, I personally can't tell. Okay. All right. Let's see. Are you allowed to run Embrilliance on your own sewing machine? If so, do you need an update from each of the machines? So I'm trying to make sure I understand your question. So Embrilliance is going to be computer software that will either read or digitize embroidery designs. Now, once you edit or create an embroidery design on Embrilliance, you can save it in any embroidery format that is out there. Like it has tons of options so that you will be able to put that embroidery design on any embroidery machine. So you don't have to do anything to your embroidery machine other than know what format it accepts. So if you have a Brother or a Baby Lock, you're going to use PES format. If you have a Janome, I think it's JEF. If you have a Viking or Hertzbana, it's HUS. I have a whole chart on this, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But every brand is going to have its own particular format that it likes to read. And then like my industrial machines, and one that's kind of universal with all machines is DST, is another format. Within Embrilliance, you can save it as any format. So you won't have that trouble at all. Okay. All right. Any other questions that I missed? Yay, Marissa, you're going to the quilt show on the road to California? Come see me. I'll be in the Happy Embroidery booth. Now, just going back to the machine bit, now the quality of the stitching, with, especially I could say with my Brother machines, I have high quality stitching from my low end machine to my high end machine. What I am paying for and the difference between those machines is mainly hoop size and features. With my 770 and my 800, I was limited to a 5x7 hoop. It did not cut jump stitches. I could say that the needle threader is a little finicky. I've messed it up several times. um, the screen is very small. My old machine didn't even have a color screen. It was grayscale. Most of the time I couldn't even make out what design I was having on there. My Stellaire is like my Cadillac. It has all the features. It has the largest hoop size in my whole craft room here. It has 9.5 by 14. That one is also a sewing machine that has all the features, all the stitches, lasers, automatic things. Like, it's beautiful. It's top notch. And that is what I am paying for with that particular upgrade. Just my own opinion on that. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions? Let's see. Will saved files on Embrilliance Essentials transfer to the update of the same? So the only thing that you technically have saved within the program is all your BX fonts. So BX fonts is just another format. So like when I purchase an embroidery font, it usually comes in several formats. It'll come in PES and DST and EXP and all of them. But lots of digitizers are now offering their fonts with an additional format, and that is BX, and that is specific to Embrilliance. And that you actually install into the program. The program remembers you have that font, and I could just click it like I was showing you earlier when we were playing with the envelopes. When you update the program, you are not losing all those BX fonts that you have installed. The only time that is an issue is when, say, your computer dies, or you're upgrading, you're getting a new computer, and you're reinstalling the program, and you're putting in your serial number. None of your BX fonts will be on there once you install it on a new computer. But there is a way to import your library of, let's say, your BX fonts on one computer, and import that library into your new computer. So that is something that you can do. But with just updating, nothing should change other than you have the new version of the program. You won't lose anything. Okay. I think I'm way behind. So Amanda brings up a good point. You cannot regulate the embroidery tension on a low-end machine or the speed. So on my personal lowest end is the PE 800. You can regulate the speed, but it only gives you two options. I know definitely on my 770 it was two options. I can't remember on the 800 if it lets you navigate by 100 increments. But the highest it stitches is 650 stitches per minute. As far as tension goes, that is a very what's this? I had a pun and I lost it. But that is a controversial topic when it comes to embroidery, because I personally tell people, don't mess with the tension on an embroidery machine. It should, when you get it, now granted, if you buy a used machine and you need to have it serviced or whatever, but tension is not usually something I mess with. That's like a last resort on an embroidery machine. If I am having trouble with seeing bobbin thread on top, or things not stitching right, it's typically stabilizer is what I mess with before I mess with tension. And there are tension tests that you can do on your machine, and the bobbin case has a special screw on it where you can tighten and loosen the bobbin tension on it. And there are also buttons to mess with the top tension, but I don't think, when I spoke to someone that serviced brother machines, I think that they're actually not really functional on embroidery only machines, but they are on the sewing embroidery combo machines. Okay. Let's see. Thank you, Joanne. Okay, Helena says, do I have a module on Thumbnailer? Mine isn't doing what it says it can do. I believe I speak about Thumbnailer, and we have some live Q&A sessions on my Embrilliance course where we went over Thumbnailer, but people get hung up on Thumbnailer, so let me talk about that for a second. Thumbnailer is another program that is offered by Embrilliance, and that its sole purpose is to allow you to preview what an embroidery design looks like within your computer filing system. So if you have a Mac, there's a Finder, but the Finder button is what I press on my Mac, and that's what I pull up to try and find my files. Like normally they have little picture icons of like folders or a little white note page if it's a Word document, those kinds of things. But when it's an embroidery file, your computer doesn't know what to do with that. And that's why we get Embrilliance to begin with. You can't open an embroidery design on your computer without having some sort of embroidery software. Your computer doesn't recognize those formats. So it will usually just show a little white empty icon. With Thumbnailer installed on your computer, you no longer see that little white empty page icon, but you see an actual preview of the embroidery design. And Thumbnailer is separate from the normal Embrilliance program download. It has a whole new download of itself, and you download it. And you can, once you download it, you never really need to open it other than to tell it which files you want to see a preview of. And if you have trouble with installing it, go look on the Embrilliance website. There are troubleshooting tips, because depending on what version of, if you have a Mac, what version operating system you have, or Windows, there may be certain permissions that you have to grant in order for Thumbnailer to work. So let me know if that helps you and if you have more questions on that. Let's see. Donna asked, will magnetic hoops mess up the computer on your embroidery machine? Now, normally we think of magnets, and they do not go well with computers and cell phones and like even my camera. I tend to try to keep my magnets away from those things. However, I have used magnetic hoops on my machines with absolutely no trouble. I have mighty hoops for my Brother PR1X and my Brother 6 needle. And I have a dime snap hoop monster for my Stellaire. When I have those things on my craft table and I'm working, I make sure like my phone is not by them. But at the machine itself, no, I've had no trouble. I mean, Mighty Hoops and Dime have been manufacturing those magnetic hoops for years for all models of machines, and no trouble whatsoever that I know of with them messing up the computer of the machine itself. Let's see. I see, ask someone, will the Southern California wildfires impact the road to California? No, from my understanding, because I was really nervous about going. We actually had a whole trip planned that we canceled before the show. And I explained about it, and they said they're watching it very carefully. And the show is in Ontario, in an area that is not impacted. And they're having all kinds of opportunities for donations, and they're working on things to help people in the LA community that are affected by the wildfire. So from my understanding, it's not impacted, and it will happen, and they're organizing something to help people in the community while they're there. Okay. Yeah, so Andrew's saying the convention center is very inland from the mountains where the fire is raging, and there should be no impact. So Lisa's saying she has a multi-needle machine and she's never touched the tension. I've played with tension sometimes on my multi-needle machines, because they have those tension discs that are built into the top thread path. And I have a tension gauge, because one of my machines, just one needle in particular, was giving me trouble. And that's when I go and I will do my tension, what they call a T test or an I test, where you just stitch a bunch of satin columns and you look at the back and you look and see, okay, is my bobbin thread 1/3 of my column? Do I see like some of my top thread, the bobbin thread in the middle, and then some of my top thread on the other side? So if you are not seeing that on the underneath of your embroidery and you know everything is stabilized well, that's when I look at tension and see if it needs to be adjusted. Okay. Do, do. Oh, Amanda makes a very good point. She says the more expensive embroidery machines have a better, stronger motor than the lower ends, and that makes a huge difference. That is very true, Amanda. Um, all right, people are saying they love the magnetic hoops from Dime, and someone has one for their Altair and they love it. Okay, and Joanne says a friend asked about reinstalling, I guess, the thumbnailer program on her new PC. Geek Squad totally messed hers up. I'm so sorry. I know that sucks. Yeah, I've learned my lesson with computers. I keep everything on a cloud drive, whether it be iCloud or Dropbox. So like when I messed up my computer and I had my new computer looking exactly like my old computer within minutes because there was nothing really on the hard drive itself. Everything's in the cloud now except the programs. Like I had to go and reinstall programs, but then I had it up and running with everything within a few minutes. Really, just the install time was all I needed. So I was very thankful for that because I know back in the day when I had everything on a hard drive, and if I didn't have it backed up on an external hard drive, like it was horrible. Okay. Okay, so Fan Riley says, do I have videos on PE design software? No, I've actually never messed with PE design software, but someone who is an expert is Cindy Hogan. She literally wrote the book on how to use PE design, and she's an excellent teacher. And she has, I want to say, a Facebook page where she does Facebook Lives going through different aspects. And she has a whole book on how to use it. So definitely look up Cindy Hogan. She is a great resource. Okay. I'm probably way behind on the comments. We still see. Oh, wait, no, I'm not that bad. Okay. Let's see. Sandy says she purchased my original classes but have not used them yet. Are they still available? Yes. So once you purchase one of my classes, whether it's my beginner machine embroidery class, which is called From Start to Stitch, or my class on how to use Embrilliance Essentials is called Embroidery Essentials. When you buy them, you have lifetime access. So you can go and log in and watch the video lessons and, re-download any of the class notes and slideshows anytime, whether it be, next year or whenever. If you need to go back and refresh on a certain topic, you always have that ability. So if you have ever purchased anything from me, all you need to do is go to my website, KarlieBelle.com, and at the top, let's see, let me go here. Oop. Okay, so this is my website, KarlieBelle.com. At the top here, it says access for students and VIP members. So just click login, and that's going to take you to the login page. So if you purchased any of these things from me, just log in. I always have my computer where it remembers my password, but if you forgot it, you just click the forgot your password and you can reset it. And then it's going to show you your dashboard where whatever courses that you have purchased will be colored, and then whatever you have not purchased will be grayed out. So if you go to the Embroidery Essentials, you can go and see the course. They have the table of contents here. So I feel like I need a refresher on envelopes. So I would go to my envelopes lesson and I can watch it and I can look at all the notes and everything and refresh my memory on how to use envelopes. So that is all there for you. Lifetime access whenever you want to go and just to sign in, just go to karliebelle.com and log in. Okay. Doot, doot. Let's see. All right. Yeah. Joanne loves Cindy too. I got to work with her and she's on YouTube. Yes. Oh my. Um, okay. All right, guys. I think we have gone over the time that I was spending here today with y'all, but thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. I hope you had as much fun as I did and that you got some of your questions answered. I will be back on Takeover Tuesday next month. Let me look at my calendar. I want to say, what day is it in February? February 11th. So Tuesday, February 11th, I'll be back. And that class, definitely plan to go over how to quilt with your embroidery machine. I got this beautiful Winnie the Pooh panel for my nephew that was just born in December. And I got some beautiful fabric for the back. And so I've already made my quilt sandwich. It's almost ready to go. So we're going to go over how to use Karlie Belle's clear blue tiles and the dime magnetic, I think it's called a monster snap hoop, and my brother Stellaire embroidery machine, and go over how we can get that look of edge to edge quilting on your embroidery machine just by doing several hoopings. And so I'm going to quilt that entire baby quilt all on my embroidery machine. I'm really excited about it. And that's what I'm going to be teaching next month. So I hope y'all come back then. And then I have on my YouTube channel, we'll have Sip and Stitch will be the last Friday of this month, the 31st. And we'll be going over how to make this cute in the hoop chapstick holder. So this is a little spot for a chapstick, and then I'm going to use a punch and put a little eyelet right here and make it into a keychain. So we'll be going over how to do this, and I'm going to use my little tiny cute brother Skitch embroidery machine to make this. This is a little 4x4 project. Very easy to do and makes cute little Valentine presents. So we'll be doing that on the 31st, and then I'll be with Blaine and the rest of the Sewing Machines Plus team in California to the Road to California Quilt Show next week. And I think we'll be doing some lives from there too. So y'all stay tuned for that. So thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll see y'all guys next time. Bye.